Here we are. We're doing rookie profiles again, rookie spotlights. Today we're going to do wide receiver. We're going to get into James Washington out of Oklahoma State, like the young lady said. I got 6'1" on my thing, 205, 21. Combine does start today as we're recording, so it will be interesting to see actually how tall he actually is and what he actually weighs, because he is not the tallest of receivers, but he is right at the top of a lot of people's draft boards. So I'll throw it over to you, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on James Washington?
I actually like this guy quite a bit. I think he'll be probably a top 5 receiver in rookie drafts. He could go as high as the first round in rookie drafts, or maybe slightly second round higher, first half of the second round. So I like this guy's prospects. I know he's not the prototypical size. He's not 6'4". I'm very interested to see what he measures at, because a lot of different sites that we looked at when we were kind of digging up information had him in the 5'10" to 6 foot range. So I want to see what he finally measures at.
I definitely thought the same thing. It was kind of weird. It says that he's 6 foot tall, but that he was also measured 5'11". Then it says at the Senior Bowl they measure him at 5'10". So I don't know. It's 2 or 3 inches is kind of a lot when you're talking about a wide receiver. I mean, it's not the end all be all, but a 3-inch difference to me. If he's 5'10" or he's 6 foot, possibly 6'1", that is a difference for me. That it could be a huge factor when you're going up and getting the ball. Those couple of inches, you want to be taller than the cornerback. You don't want the cornerback to be, jumping over you.
I think he's a good receiver as far as like kind of a jack of all trades. He's better at the deep routes than he is at the medium and short routes. But he can also win the 50-50 balls. He's not going to get just pushed down by these corners. Like, he's not the 6'4" guy that's going to go up and jump over the corner, but he can wrestle these balls away. So the one thing I liked about him when I was digging up a lot of stuff and reading a lot about him was he doesn't have a big ego. A lot of times they say that the prima donna position is wide receivers. They're all prima donnas. They all only want to work about themselves. They all think about themselves. They all want the ball. They said this kid doesn't have a big ego. He's very humble.
Which is weird, because it says that he tried to model his game after Dez Bryant, who's the complete opposite of what you just said.
Yeah, but I think that's a lot have to do with it. They went to the same college. They both went to Oklahoma State. That's where Dez Bryant went to. So maybe
that's one of the reasons why
Dez Bryant.
Right.
But I mean, Dez Bryant was kind of a prima donna in college too.
That's what I'm saying. But James Washington's not.
Right, and he also won the Biletnikoff Award, which you and I kind of talked about off the air, Travis. So that's a very prestigious award.
Nation's best wide receiver.
Yes, college wide receiver. Yes, a lot of. If you look at the list of guys that have won that award over the past few years, there's some huge names on the list. Calvin Johnson's, Randy Moss's, Corey Coleman's,
Larry Fitzgerald.
There's a lot of good wide receivers that end up doing well in the NFL as well. So that's usually, I mean, if you're trying to check boxes or whatever for your little prospecting sheet that you put together for different guys, if you do that kind of thing, that's a good one. You know?
There wasn't a lot of the past award winners that we saw that didn't make it at least a season or two. Like, we even brought up Braylon Edwards and won this award. He even had a couple of good seasons. He had one really big breakout, but he even had a couple of good seasons before he finally retired. But all those guys that won the award went on to have decent careers. So I like the guy. I like this guy's precision. I can't say it for every single Biletnikoff Award winner, but
some of those guys are Hall of Famers too.
Right.
So I mean, it is a decent indicator. I mean, I'll rattle off a few more names that we said. Michael Crabtree's of the world, Golden Tates, Marquise Lee, productive guys, Amari Coopers, Brandon Cooks. You can look back at the list, and 90% of them are guys that even if you didn't grow up necessarily watching them, or just kind of the tail ends of their careers, or even young guys that are just coming out and you're hearing their names, like Dede Westbrook last year won it as well. So yeah, it's a pretty decent indicator of how they might fare in the NFL game.
Going on the Dez Bryant thing, he actually got offers from Texas State, TCU, and Texas, and turned them all down to go to Oklahoma State, again because of the Dez Bryant thing and him trying to follow in the footsteps of Dez Bryant. But when he was looked out and sought after in high school going into college, he was the 37th ranked wide receiver coming out of high school in that class. Because he played wide receiver and cornerback in high school, and he was predominantly a cornerback that played both sides, but as a wide receiver he didn't really break out till he got to college. And in college he had 3 straight seasons of 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns or more every season, and just kept moving up. 2016 and 2017 he was first team All Big 12 in both seasons. So again, he's just gotten better as the years have gone on. He also in high school played basketball, tennis, and track. So Travis loves the track stars. Obviously the kid's got speed, And if you're telling me the kid can break out in an open field, give him to me. I mean, anytime the guy's running track, he's obviously pretty fast. Even if you put a helmet and pads on him. So I'll take a guy that can run.
Well, a couple of the knocks on him I saw, like obviously not the prototypical size. You know, obviously they want to be a little bit taller. You know, time will tell on that. But he played a spread offense at Oklahoma State, so that was kind of key to one-on-one matchups. So he's going to have to work on that difference as far as the NFL gets, because you're going to get thrown out a lot of different ways. And he probably needs a little bit of polishing on his route running.
So, yeah, well, you said negative. That is a huge negative. To me, the other negative was his injury. He has this nagging ankle, and the other thing that I read on him was, did you guys read this at all?
No, but I know you're the injury guy. You're
Okay.
our resident doctor. We'll go ahead. So go ahead.
Okay, so Dr. Up found that he has had a hernia his entire life and has never got it treated, even though it says it bothers him all the time. He said that as far as he can remember since he was a kid, around the age of 6 or 7 years old, that he's had a hernia that he's just now learned to live with. He's never got it treated because he says that it won't affect him. So he doesn't think it's getting worse, but when they asked him, like, is there anything that's like you're worried about as far as like your health-wise, anything like that? And he said, the only thing is I've had this hernia since I was 6 years old. How have you had a hernia since you're 6 years old and have never like got it fixed? Eventually it is going to get worse.
Well, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but isn't a hernia kind of when like the organs are pushing through?
Right. Like go ahead.
And it's kind of ripping.
I think we should be careful about like the prognosis, diagnosis. I think there's a lot of different kinds of hernias as well. There's a few different kinds depending on the area where they are, whether they're closer to the groin.
But eventually they drop. Right. Exactly.
Well, it depends. I mean,
Is there?
there probably is some that are so minor that there's some treatments or procedures that you don't really have to.
But why not get
They
why
put a
would you
mesh.
get taken
They put
care
a mesh screen so that the organs don't. I mean, no matter where it's at, is a hernia like the organ pushing through a
Yes.
part that's cut?
Yes.
Is that
It's a hernia protruding.
I'm not a doctor, but
it's like a
the intestines protruding?
Yeah,
Like,
100%. Like what? That's not even a question. I'm telling you, yeah.
so if so if this guy sneezes hard, he might miss a week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he says it won't affect him, but the first thing he brought up was the hernia. So you've had a hernia since you're 5, 6, 7 years old, whatever it is, and you never got it fixed. Is that why
what
does
was he
parents never
lifting?
take him to the
What was he
doctor?
lifting at 6 or 7 years
It
old?
could be
to get a
anything.
hernia?
It could be anything, though.
A hernia is the abnormal exit of tissue or an organ, such as the bowel, through the wall of the cavity in which it normally resides. Hernias come in a number of different types. Most commonly, they involve the abdomen, specifically the groin.
Correct.
So yeah, so no matter what type of hernia, if he used the word hernia, that's something that's cut on the inside where like there's an organ pushing through. So
Either way, it's not normal. Like, get it fixed. Like, you think an NFL team's going to draft him and be like, oh, man, you've had this hernia for a while. All right, we'll just take our chances, just keep plugging through. Or they're going to be like, hey, go ahead and get it fixed before the season starts.
yeah, it may be like a John Ross situation where
That's what I'm saying.
the guy comes out and it's
Right.
like, okay, we know what we have and we
Right.
want to keep this guy, so we want you healthy, so you need to go get this done. And then
Well-
John Ross he got one touch.
Snap.
Just to touch on the hernia thing again, I'm getting my info right now from Wikipedia.
Okay.
So
I
So
trust
you know
it.
it's solid.
So yeah, so groin, I don't know where James Washington's hernia is located, but groin hernias that do not cause symptoms in males do not need to be repaired. Repair, however, is generally recommended in women due to higher yada yada yada. So I think he could have a hernia and it just might not be past that threshold where it needs to be taken care of. Yeah, he probably can
I just
feel
don't
it.
want that to happen mid-season when he's like, all right, now like it's bad. I need to, all of a sudden he misses the first half of his rookie
Well,
season when he
everyone's
gets hit by a
heard
linebacker.
what's called a sports hernia, and
Right.
that will literally knock you out for, the season basically.
Correct.
Like you're gonna miss months because of that to recoup. And we know people, especially like at our job, that have gotten the
Yes.
regular hernia operation, and they've literally missed 3 months. And
Yeah.
we don't do
Physical.
anything sports wise. So this is just guys that stand around. They need to take 3 months off.
If I'm drafting him though, in an NFL team, and he does get it fixed, like I already like the kid a lot. He's 6 foot, 205, like we said. Everything looks great on him. Film looks great. He looks very explosive, electric downfield pass catching ability. I like all of it. I just am a little worried about that, and I'm always worried about injuries because I just hate going into it knowing the guy has a history of them, and then when the guy tells me I've had this injury he's 20 years old, 21 right now, so if he's had it for 15 years, hasn't got it fixed, I'm sure it's okay, but I just don't want him to get hit by a linebacker or twist wrong, or you go in the pros, you start lifting weights with the big guys, and I'm just saying, I think he just needs to get it fixed before the season starts. That just make me feel more comfortable about him. But as far as the wide receiver class coming out, rookie-wise, I think James Washington's in my top 2 of guys coming out. I'm not going to tell you who the other one is, but I like him a lot more than I like everybody else.
I'd say this too. When I was kind of reading some stuff here, I have it up on the
Little
screen
nugget
for us. This is just as in comparison. They talk about how long his arms are, and this is why he wins a lot of those 50-50 balls, because it's obviously not because of his height, but they said he has nearly 34-inch arms, and by comparison, you look at Sterling Shepard, who's also 5'10", and he has 30 and 3/8-inch arms.
And 4 inches longer. That helps. Inches.
Just a comparison.
You'd be surprised at 4 inches you can do. You know.
Yeah,
So
if you know how to use it, yeah.
I mean, just to put it in perspective, that's why, like, you know, even though he's on the shorter size, he can still go up and get those 50-50 balls, which is what I like. That's one of the things I like about him. I also read a little bit about him not being like that great of a blocker, but they said that this guy's not afraid to go in and block. Like, he's not like shying away from it. It's just something he probably needs to get in the weight room and work a little bit more on, and then you know, learn the technique.
Careful that weight room.
I think he'll be okay as long as he lift too much, because I don't want to hurt the hernia. Maybe more reps and not as much weight. But we'll see, I guess.
Low
right?
impact.
Yeah,
Low
low
impact.
impact,
High
yeah.
rep. I think he's a solid guy as well. He's got that kind of that frame, and he looks like he can kind of bang with the kind of the big boys and get in there and catch balls in traffic. I like him as well. I think he is going to step right in and be able to be productive. I don't know if he's going to be drafted to be a number one anywhere.
Which is might be good though, because if he goes to a decent team as that team's number 2, then he might be getting the number 2 corner when he's facing these guys. So I actually, you know, I like both sides. Like if you have one side that he's like a number 1 receiver, but you're going to get that number 1 corner. So that rookie may struggle his first year, you know, coming into it, because especially if that corner's a veteran. But if you're the number 2 and you're not expected to put up number 1 numbers, I think that helps you out a lot more. And I think that he's not going to get drafted in the NFL until probably the second, maybe third round.
You think so?
Depending on how he's not going to be a first round pick.
No, but no way third.
Where
I'm saying
in the
actual NFL draft.
No way third.
But he doesn't get past the second.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all okay. Second or third is what I kind of thought. So we're all agreeing.
I just like him because he's aggressive and he's not afraid to, like you just said, go up and get the ball. He loves going up and get 50-50 balls, and he's not that big of a guy. So if a guy's willing to go up and get the ball, that means he's probably willing to go across the middle. He's not afraid to get hit. He likes contact. And I like that with my wide receivers, but if the guy's lightning fast, get him out there. He reminds me of an NFL comparison of like a Corey Coleman. Unfortunately, Corey Coleman is in a crappy situation because he had to go to the Browns and they shuffled through quarterbacks. He had a couple of injuries as well. But I think that if James Washington does get drafted in the second round, it could be mid to late second round. He could get on a team that's competitive now and not have to be the number 1 wide receiver. Unfortunately, if he goes to somewhere like the Bills, he's instantly their number 1 wide receiver, and without a quarterback right now, it could be a really terrible situation. He could be right where Corey Coleman is. If he goes to a team that's competitive,
what if he goes somewhere
like Seattle or
like
something?
we talked about, like with the Cowboys and the Cowboys second round pick,
Oh, God,
and now
that would
they
be his
do
dream come true.
and now they do keep Des Bryant,
Yeah,
and now they do keep Des Bryant, and now you know he's there kind of.
bring back Brandon Whedon. We can have Oklahoma State reunion and have Brandon Whedon throw the ball. What do you think about? Oh, never mind. We won't get off topic. I was going to ask
Brandon
you
Reed
about
was like
Dak
a
Prescott.
36-year-old rookie, so I didn't like that situation.
That's true. He was pretty old.
Yeah, he's 47 years old right now.
He's like, should I be a doctor or should I go play quarterback in the NFL? I'll go play quarterback in the NFL.
I could be a doctor
It's like
anytime.
it's less risky.
I have plenty of time to get my.
I have a fun fact about, if you want a fun fact about
How fun?
James Washington?
I like nuggets. You got some good nuggets?
It's nothing football related.
Is it his birthday related?
It's just fun.
Go ahead.
It's fun. So I guess where he lives, he's a big coyote hunter. So he was saying that after the Senior Bowl, he was looking forward to having a little bit of time off because he was going to go coyote hunting, which I guess is really big where he's at.
We call them coyotes.
Yeah.
They probably do call them coyotes, but we're in Nevada, so I'm going to call it coyote, which we actually have coyotes here in
We do.
in
Just
Nevada.
over my back wall right here.
Yeah, I see
all
some
the
at
time.
my house as well.
I don't see any. I don't live on the outskirts by the mountains, so I don't see any coyotes by my house.
Shame on you.
Deep in the valley.
Deep.
He's a valley girl.
So that was the nugget.
That was the fun nugget. He's a coyote hunter.
Has he ever caught one?
What?
Like what do
Sure
you
he
do?
has.
Like what do you do with
Was
them?
that a fun nugget?
Like what do you do with it?
Was that not fun?
I just thought you were going somewhere.
Did you
Like
have
he
fun?
makes like a jacket with it or something. Like what do you do after you hunt a coyote? Like you don't eat
I don't
it.
know.
So
maybe he's into taxidermy. Maybe he stuffs it. I don't know.
like he just kills it.
It didn't
like
say
to me
what
that's
he
not
did.
like hunting. Hunting is like you're doing it for a purpose. Either you want to use the fur or you want to eat the meat or you want to like it's a purpose, isn't it?
Well, coyotes are killers, so maybe he's saving.
Whoa.
They're
Predators?
just what they are.
Predators.
Okay, but he kills it and
Maybe
he
he's
does what with
saving
it?
other animals by
He's
killing
like,
the coyotes.
tell your friend. He holds it over. He's like, tell your friends I killed you. Like, not to cover anything. I
Yeah,
don't know,
maybe he
still
shoots
say
and just
person.
leaves it out there so the rest of the coyotes can know, like,
See,
don't
I don't
come around
know.
this place.
It's like, to me, that kind of like, I don't like that about him.
Okay.
Does that drop him a little bit?
Well,
maybe?
well,
It's a psychological thing to me. Like, that's like when
No,
somebody,
no, no.
when somebody beats on cats and dogs when they're
No.
growing up.
I didn't say he was punching frogs. I just said that he's
Well,
killing
what's the
coyotes.
difference? Which one's worse?
It
A frog's not going to hurt anybody.
Look, it depends on where you grow up and where you're raised. And in some areas,
He-
hunting.
Abilene,
and that
Texas is
stuff-
where he's from.
Yeah, and so some places have a proliferation of certain animals, and predators can invade areas. And I know I have a lot of rabbits out by my house, and if all of a sudden I start seeing a lot of coyotes, somebody might pull out a little 22 or something and start taking off
You
coyotes.
can't just
Right.
do that in the middle of the. You can't do that.
Until somebody stops you, people do it. So I mean, if you got a little Chihuahua dog and you got coyotes roaming around, you're
Correct.
Probably, you're
I have-
probably
I have-
gonna-
I'm going to shoot a coyote if I have a
Maybe
little
he
dog
has
around
a
the backyard.
Chihuahua. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay,
He's
well that would be more fun.
He's protecting his dog.
Maybe he has other animals. Like people have rabbits in their backyard. People have chickens in their backyard. Maybe he's got chickens.
Maybe he's got cats.
I would
If
probably,
he's a
let
cat-
the coyote live.
If he's
if
a
it was
cat owner, I'm dropping him at least 3 spots. He seems like he would have a dog guy, like a bulldog.
Okay, I'm glad. I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with that.
A pug.
No, I thought he was gonna go pit bull. I thought you were gonna be maybe he's got a pit
Oh
bull.
no, he probably watches them fight though. Obviously, he's got psychological issues. He's got a hernia for the last 15 years, hasn't taken care of. The guy's a psychopath. I'm moving on from James Washington.
Drop on your board, guys.
Don't take him in the first round.
A clear avoid.
Yeah, psychopath. Anyway, anything else you guys want to add to James Washington's psych analogy or anything else for his game?
Dr.
Yes.
Sutton?
74 catches, 549 yards, 13 touchdowns on the season, and like they said, Biletnikoff Award winner, nation's best wide receiver, so you got to give him some respect. Do you guys, real quick, one quick question, do you put him ahead of the Cortland Suttons and the Christian Kirk and the other guys that we've actually talked about? I don't know who else we've actually talked about wide receiver wise,
I
but
think I have him, like right now, my rankings, I think I have him 4th behind Sutton, Ridley, and Kirk.
Ridley, that was the other guy.
Yeah, I think
But
they're in the same kind of area.
Yeah, they're in the same kind of area, but it's all going to depend on where they go in the draft. But I think right now, as far as the rankings before, this is pre-combine and pre-draft,
Right.
I have him as the 4th receiver.
Like I can see in a dynasty draft, rookie draft, the first 5 picks probably are going to be running backs of whatever they are,
Right.
and then I can see the next 4 being once a first receiver's taken, it go receiver, in whatever combination. All 4 of the top 4 receivers are going to go back to back to back to back.
I have the
It's-
same thing. I have the same feeling. Unless somebody goes in a really bad situation to where some team comes out of